Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome on the Curtain News. My name is David Serero, and I'm very, very happy to have today the wonderful and very talented Madame Angela McCLUSKEY. How are you, Angela?
I'm very well. Thank you for the welcome.
Thank you so much for being on the phone today, knowing your extra busy schedule. So we really, really appreciate your time. So let me tell you, Angela, your album, your music is absolutely first class. Your voice is simply a God's gift, and the music you're creating around it is a mix of, electro with the retro. I think you're going to call it retro electro.
Yes.
And and you add. We're going to talk about all of that, but also you add some jazz, a touch of the 20s a little bit, and maybe, if you allow me, a touch of soul music. I even feel at some point, and all of that done in a very classy and glamorous surroundings and quality. So, and the production is absolutely first class. So, congratulations, my dear.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, for the very few people who don't know you, I'm sure there is one somewhere in the world. Can you tell me a little bit about where you're from, where you grew up, and how did you arrive to become a singer?
Well, I grew up in Scotland, which is part of the United Kingdom. Mm-hmm. I ended up in London, as we all do when you leave, go to the big city.
Yeah.
Then I ended up in Los Angeles, kind of by mistake for a week, but that's another long story. And during a long summer in Hollywood, I started to write songs by complete accident with a friend who would sit beside me playing guitar. And after about 8 or 9 months, I had a club that I started every Tuesday night called the Cafe Largo in Hollywood. And after about 9 months, we became like the band. We were called the World Colonials.
Wow.
Signed a record deal with Geffen. And then we made 3 records, toured the world for about, between 5 and 6 years. I played with everybody, played for presidents, I worked with everybody from Dr. John to Cyndi Lauper to the Kinks, Chris Isaacs, I had a pretty amazing life, pretty amazing. And then I had a call from a French band called Telepop Music, who were just beginning the first record, and they were looking for one more song, and the guy had seen me play in New York, actually, called me up. I went over to Paris to write one song, ended up writing about 10, and they picked 4, and the first song was called Breathe, which then became the Grammy-nominated Breathe that it is today. And from that, I then went on to sign to Blue Note and do my solo record with Nathan Larson.
Wow.
So
Blue Note, for the people who don't know, is a very, very totally unknown jazz record label, right?
Yeah, Blue Note.
Very small, unknown.
Yeah.
Nobody, very few musicians have recorded with them like that. Totally unknown musicians.
Yeah, that's true. So, and I did my solo record with them, which is one of my favorite records, called The Things We Do. And I recorded that in Sweden, actually, with Nina from the Cardigans' husband. His name is Nathan Larson, who's an amazing producer out of New York. And then, I now find myself... in between that, I've worked with all the, a lot of producer DJs like Morgan Page, Paul Oakenfold. At the moment, Big Gigantic. The next single was Cinematic Orchestra. So I'm pretty lucky. I managed to keep my head under the radar, because I'm not particularly interested in being some kind of famous pop star, to be honest. Doesn't appeal to me. I'm more interested in just singing and writing, and and if I can sneak out the back door, that's fantastic.
Well, that's wonderful to see. So how would you describe yourself? Would you say you're a jazz singer originally?
No, I wasn't any singer originally. I mean, I was just somebody who, like anybody, liked music. I didn't grow up thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be a singer. It was the last thing, actually, because growing up in Scotland, everybody kind of can sing, and it's a very competitive world. My main objective was to either be a painter or an actress. I did both, and I did them pretty well. But the thing about me being Scottish is I like to be absolutely brilliant. If I'm not brilliant, I don't really get the point. So, you know, it can take you a few years to realise you're not brilliant. And I think what happened is I started to sing, and it wasn't I thought I was brilliant. It just everybody else thought I was brilliant. So I was like, well, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So I continued, and to this day they still think I'm pretty good. So I'm not going to like argue with them.
No, don't argue with somebody who tells you're good. That's
you're good,
for sure.
Good law for life.
Yeah, but you know, one thing that I realized with you is the variety of your work. By example, one day you can sing some standards. The other day you can work with DJs. Then you can write music. Then you can.
Yeah, I'm very lucky like that. That's what your initial question was. I started being a basically alternative, what they would call alternative rock, in the Amy Mann sort of place, Sarah McLachlan, but with a bit of a rockier edge, say 10,000 Maniacs. But I think that was just because that's what the guy was playing. He was sitting there playing like guitar, and it just seemed like the music I was singing sounded like that. And then I moved on to electronic because of telepop music, and that actually the music I sing with telepop music was very jazz because it was all about the voice and all about the voice having this beautiful like bed to sit in, you know. It was completely all about all this orchestra around the voice. Everything was about the voice. Whereas rock music, everything's about the guitar, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's true. And the drum.
and then when I did the things we do, that became a mixture because, you know, it was more of a soul record, I would say. Soul and with a touch of jazz. And then we come back around to DJs, where again it's about the voice. So, and it also tends to sound quite jazzy because your voice is up front. You've got to have the big hook. You know, it's definitely not rock music, and it's certainly not jazz, but it's definitely something that you have. Your voice is the focal point. So.
Yeah. No,
I'm lucky. I'm lucky.
I absolutely agree with you. And one thing I wanted to ask you is that I see. And actually I'm very happy of it because when I listen to your music, to your recordings, and to your voice, I was, wow, that music would be perfect as a soundtrack for movies because your voice expresses some memories. You know, I was thinking about this old girlfriend that I had, you know.
Yeah.
So,
but I do a lot of music. I've done a lot of movies. I've done hundreds of movies. I've even got an album.
That's one I read, I wanted to tell you about is, how did you arrive to write music or have your own music or your own recordings into such a wonderful movies like even the TV series, the Boardwalk Empire or Nike, American Express, Mercedes? Did they give you a car in exchange at least? No?
No. Obviously, everybody has
They should.
You don't get anything. You basically, it's the only way a musician can make any money right now, the only way, there is only one way, and that is by doing what we call sync, where we would sync a song to a film, and even that's got to the point where it's like, well, you know, we'll get you exposure, so we can't afford to give you any money. So, I mean, 20 years ago, I was making a lot more money as a musician than I am now. Now I have
I agree with you. You know, tell me about that. I mean, now we have more opportunities to have our music played, you know, because if you look at it, YouTube, you know, you can put your music.
But you have competition that's ridiculous. You have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
So now you can, it's pretty ironic because you can have your music being heard by millions of people, but yet you would make less money, close to no money, compared to 20 years ago when 10 people would listen to your music.
Oh, yeah. I mean, telepop music have 7 or 8 million people listening to the songs and on Spotify or Pandora and all these things.
Yeah.
And I literally I don't remember the last time I made a penny. I go into a hotel or a bar or a restaurant. I hear Breathe everywhere at least twice a day. I hear this song.
Yes.
You know, and I don't know, you know, it's just that music has become this worthless thing. I don't know how it happens.
That's true. It's like air now.
It's worthless. It's like, well, why don't you give us studios for free and art designers for free and set up our concerts for free?
Yeah.
I mean, how am I supposed to, everybody's like, I love your music, but they don't even think about buying the record. It wouldn't even cross their mind to buy the record.
Yeah, I agree with you. And now there is a new currency that is called the visibility. You know,
they used to call it exposure. They used to call it exposure, and as my grandmother used to say, exposure kills you.
That's true.
That's the only thing. The last thing I need is exposure. You know, I have a Grammy. I mean, why do I need exposure?
No, I agree with you.
It's like a joke. It's like they keep saying, "Oh, but you know, it's really good for you." I'm like, "Yes, so the last 25 movies I've done for $500."
I agree with you, and also. When people tell you, you know, oh, but you will perform that, so we cannot pay you, but you will get great exposure. So I'm like, when I pay my rent, I don't say to I don't pay them without exposure, you know. So everybody gets paid the technicians and the advertising and everything, but now the artist is like it's secondary, you know. It's a crazy world because we have access to music much easier than in the past. So. You know, for some reason.
To be honest with you, I'm kind of like really fed up talking about it because it's kind of there's no answer. So I'd rather talk about positive things, and the positive things are, from that point of view, I get to make a record like this. I get to sign with a wonderful company called Riptide, who are actually a publishing company. They've been absolutely incredible, supporting me and helping in a way that, you know, the old days, the publishing company would give you the money and disappear. They would never be relevant or in any way part of, you know, getting your music out there, to be honest. Whereas this company here is full of really young guys. You know, they've already got me like 3 movies. You know, I got a Woody Allen movie, then I got a commercial for Chico's, and this is basically what's got the music out there. So and it's a publishing company. Admittedly, I had to sell, you know, half of my music, but what else am I going to do? You know, at least they're looking after me, whereas most publishing companies, it's the same thing, will get you exposure.
Absolutely. Well, that's the least that's the least that you deserve, my dear. Yeah. So let me now. So the Roxy Hotel. So this is a beautiful place that is in downtown Manhattan, and I want you to tell me how all of that came up, that gig at the Roxy Hotel, and also. What are you going to perform there?
Well, you just told everybody Wednesday.
No, but what are you going to perform there?
Oh, fabulous. Excellent. You must come and see. Yeah. Well, basically, it's just one of those, it was one of those coincidence, you know, where I did a pop-up show there because I fell in love with the room. The room reminded me of like one of those fabulous where maybe Bardot or Françoise Hardy would be like singing in the 60s, you know, and like jumping about their little skirts, being very ooh la la. And I thought I have to do a show here, and it had the beautiful sort of like yellow ceiling and everything about it just was like Paris, and I'm obsessed with anything. I'm a bit of a Francophile. So we did a show there, and then après, I'm beginning to speak French here, and then after I thought maybe I should do, you know, another show here. So the next show I did was, it was called The Time Warp, where I would pick a movie from a different era. Like I picked 1920s, and I picked a movie called The Thin Man, and I recreated the room, you know, like the bandstand, the dancers, all the tables around the stage. And I told everybody to dress up. I gave them, you know, the movie and told them what to look like. And it was incredible. Everybody turned up like I'd never seen it. It was December. It was snowing 3 feet deep outside. And every single person turned up dressed to the nines in 1927. It was the most stunning thing you've ever seen. And there's actually a video. There's a video that can be seen if you look up. It was in the Examiner, but Joseph Dio Giovanni has a YouTube channel, and it should be on there, and it's called Time Warp. Anyway, we did this fabulous big show, and then afterwards, I was talking to all the people that run it, and they're all really young and hip and groovy, and they kind of want everything to be a bit more like alive downtown. Downtown New York needs a little injection. So we just started talking about artists in residence, that situation, and Lydia Lunch, who I'm a big fan of, and my friend Pam Hogg from London, the designer, everybody happened to be in town at the same time, and it was just a crazy idea I had. I thought, why don't we do an artist residency, and we'll have Pam and Lydia can do a spoken word, and Pam can DJ, and just be fun, and I'll do a show. And it just all tumbled out of that. And the next thing you know, we've set up a recording studio in an actual suite. We have all these special nights with all these different kind of artists and spoken words and music and photography. And it was just really exciting. So Wednesday night is the first night where I'm doing my own big party. And this is going to be the record release party, which I have written in the actual hotel, which was inspired by my night doing the 20s night there. And working with Bordeaux Empire, and Paro Stellar, who's like the king of electro swing in Europe. And I thought to myself, why don't I write original 20 songs instead of everybody always does like samples of the old songs. Everybody who does that music, they all sample or use old songs. So we went into the Roxy, shut ourselves in there, and wrote 10 songs in like 4 days, and it's called the Roxy Sessions, and that's what we're doing on Wednesday. We're going to be presenting those songs, and I will have, like a big band, and I'll have like dancers doing the 20 stuff, dressed to the nines in the Charleston outfits.
That is absolutely wonderful, and I'm sure that all of our audience will be there on the Wednesday at the Roxy Hotel to applaud you, and before that, the best thing to do is to buy your music and to buy your album on iTunes and any other platform that where you can actually purchase the album and you don't need the internet connection to listen to it. So, definitely. So before we say goodbye to you, what is just tell me what is your future plans? What are you doing next after that?
I think what I'm going to try and do is maybe try and do like a pledge or a Kickstarter to raise money, because I'd really love to tour. I was so used, I've toured a lot in my life with Telepop Music and Wild Colonials, and I've been very lucky.
Where would you like to tour?
Well, everywhere, the whole world.
Is there a particular place where you want to go?
Well, if you have a new record, you have to basically tour the record. You can't say I'm not gonna go to Paris or go to London. I need to tour the record in America, tour the record in Europe, and I'm lucky. I was used to having a record label behind me, so all that stuff I wouldn't think about. But now, obviously, it's fine to put out your record yourself and have a publishing deal. Either you get a commercial that maybe gives you some money and then you can use that to tour or whatever. But I think I'll do, that's why I love Kickstarter and Pledge. I'll do raise some money to tour, and then maybe do the West Coast, the East Coast, and then a little European tour, because I have a little bit of a name in France and a little bit.
Well, I'm from Paris originally, so we could have done that interview in French as well, but so I was very happy when you said Françoise Hardy, when you said all these retro music, because now there's a lot of they're mixing old school and electro music. Yeah. They call it the French touch.
No, I met her in Paris, and I really wanted to, because I was on EMI in Paris with Telepop, and I really, really wanted to work with her, and I met her, and I was so shy. I was just like, I would really love you to sing with me, and she was like, yes, of course, I would love to, and I was like,
Yeah.
But of course, life goes on, and you end up doing all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
And really, that's all I would love to do before I die, is record with
and when you go to Paris, please let me know, give me a call, because my whole family would like to see you. They will be also at the first row, and they would be in the streets selling your record,
Yeah. But are you based in New York?
Yeah, I'm based in New York now, but I was born and raised in Paris. So this is why your music, has actually is very reflected in it because you, how can I say, in the modern era and also one foot in the new, all of that surrounded in that, how can I call it, this European touch. So that would be really, really. So ladies and gentlemen, we had the pleasure to have the one and only, the wonderful Angela McCluskey that we love so much here at the Culture News. And don't forget to buy her album, her new album. I have some of my favorite songs, Paris to Hollywood, Hit and Run, Say Hello. Also, You and Me, which we are going to play right now at the end of this interview. My dear Angela, we are going to see you on Wednesday at the Rock in Manhattan. And we want you to know how much I adore you and how much
thank you.
The music. And you're just a phenomenal performer. And we need some Angela McCluskey everywhere. Everywhere. So we all will be happy and the world will be better.
I hope so. I hope so, darling. So I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
Me too, my dearest. Thank you so much. And all the best to you. All the best, really. You take care, dear.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Ciao, ciao.
I wish I knew